Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ari. Hopefully you'll stick around for the 6-month HRT update. So guys, as hard as it is to believe, it's actually been 6 months now since I started on my HRT. I've tried to do regular monthly videos. One thing I do want to warn about before I go into this video is doing HRT updates is getting a bit more complicated. You know, in the early months, going through, there's a lot going on that's measurable, that's visible. But you start reaching a point where things can kind of slow down, and that's okay, that's normal, that's what happens. But then, it's kind of hard to do a video and tell you really what happened that was different from month 5 to month 6, because it was pretty much more of the same, not really any major new changes. So I want to go over some of those changes starting from the beginning, as well as a little bit of info on something that I used as a bit of a guide when I started on HRT. Okay, so when I started HRT, I found this graphic, and I'll insert it, at the end of this clip so you can see it, that talks about the HRT effects on a timeline chart. And it does it on 8 different, it was following 8 different effects. Fat redistribution, reduced muscle, softer skin, lower libido, reduced erections, breast growth, testicular shrinking, what's called atrophy, which we talked about, and body hair thinning. So on most of those things, you just go into like the onset time period up to the 6 months. And the 6 months is when you go into where the changes really start to occur. On some of those, I've really already seen changes occur, like with breast development. While it's nowhere near what I would like to see, I've definitely seen some on that, so I'll talk just a minute about that. Let me sit this down. So on breast development from the last video, not a whole lot. Overlook the sound of my phone. Not a whole lot that's really changed. I don't know if you can really tell much. Like this, that's kind of it. There's not a whole lot of change since the month 5. If anything, there might be an expanding of that hard spot that's underneath that's under the breast. That's pretty much like the new tissue growth, the breast tissue. That's probably expanded a little bit more. But otherwise, there hasn't been any major changes on that. So that's still pretty much the same. Hopefully, it'll sort of kick into high gear now that we're on, 6 months. And hopefully enough of it's building up in my system to start seeing a real effect. Okay, so let's talk about some of the others that were on the list. Fat redistribution. That's really not something I've seen any real effect on. Sorry, my phone is blowing up, unfortunately. But I don't have a whole lot of fat to distribute in the first place. Reduce muscle, again, I didn't have much muscle to reduce. Softer skin, I don't know, maybe, but I really couldn't tell you with certainty. Lower libido. Yeah. Lower might be a slight bit of an understatement. I'm at that point to where my libido needs electric shocks. It's pretty much gone at the moment. I mean, it's not completely gone, but it's incredibly low. And frankly, I'm pretty much fine with that. I'm good with having more control. I don't like being led around by your body and impulses. I would rather be more in control, and that's something I feel more in control over. Okay, so up next, a fun one, reduced erections. I never thought I'd be saying that word on camera. Yeah, that one definitely has an effect. Those morning moments when you would wake up before, yeah, I haven't had one of those in forever, which is just fine with me. The less, the better. That's not to say that you can't, but it's considerably more difficult. The testicular atrophy, no change from the previous month. That has really already taken place. And body hair thinning, that one says it should just be in the onset at the 6-month time frame, but that one I actually have noticed some change with arm hair and all that, and I think I may have talked about that in the last update. But that does seem to be some changing, in that. Okay, guys, so I think that's pretty much it on physical changes. There's really not a whole lot more that's happened over the last month. It's getting harder and harder to do this, but one of the things we don't talk about is kind of the emotional changes, and I don't really attribute all of that to HRT. I know it has an impact, but it's not simply that. It's things that that kind of amaze me, because you start slowly as you're going through transition, medically or otherwise. You start slowly kind of getting comfortable in your own skin. And, there are a lot of things that I'm still uncomfortable uncomfortable about, that I still have dysphoria about. But overall, I feel like I'm getting more to just being me. It's not so much that you feel like the trans girl, you just feel like any other girl in the group. And that's kind of a cool, a very nice effect, I think, that doesn't often go mentioned. So I think the emotional and the mental aspect of it has really been probably the most significant changes over the last month. So just thought I would throw that in. Like I said, not really linked to HRT, I don't believe, but it is where I'm at. Okay, guys, so just a few things to kind of talk about really quickly. The first, on the HRT updates, I want input from you guys on what you want to see with that. I feel like I'm kind of, I'll continue doing them. If you guys want me to, I'll definitely do at least the next month and see what happens. But, if not, I may start stepping those back just a little bit, because there's less and less to talk about with each one. And I don't want to just become repetitive. So, I may kind of leave it at the 6th or 7th month when I get there for a while and come back and visit it a few months later, unless you guys are wanting something otherwise. Aside from that, please also comment on any of the videos and let me know what type of videos you'd like to see, what subjects you want, you want videos on. What are your thoughts? Leave your comments, your questions. Eventually, I want to do live streams, which I've talked about a little bit. But I need to get the subscribers up a little bit. The number is still a little low. So continue to share the video. If you are watching the video and you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do that. I will mention that again. Another thing I talked about was my work situation going on. I don't know what I'm going to do moving forward, and I don't mean that in like a depressed and sad way. I will manage, but as it so happens, I am not going to be keeping my position, which I kind of figured, but for all intents and purposes, I am basically laid off. I have pretty much one more week, and then I am on leave. Thankfully, it's a paid leave for a while, and there is a decent severance package, so you know, I'm doing okay. I've got the time to figure out what the next step is, so it's not anything of concern overall, but I just need to be watchful. But I really want to thank everyone who has contacted me with concerns and, you know, to communicate their concern. I do appreciate it. So guys, that's pretty much it for today's video on my 6-month HRT update. As I said earlier, please make sure you're clicking subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, leave your comments and let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. I really do appreciate everyone who watches the channel, the new subscribers who have clicked that subscribe button. Welcome, and I hope you enjoy the channel, and please become, you know, a part of it by letting me know what you want to see. So anyway, that's pretty much it for now. I will look at making some more videos coming up really soon. I'm trying to think. I need your help with ideas. But until then, my quote from Kesha, don't let the bastards keep you down. Hold your head up high. It doesn't matter what your situation might be, what other people may think about you. You're worth it. So don't let them drag you down. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Talk to you guys later. See you in the next video. Bye-bye. Damn bra strap. Sorry, taking a minute.